Today, Kuni was going to visit his doctor. The doctor usually came here at home for his sessions, but this time he wanted to personally go to the hospital. Shania arrived when Kuni and Lara were standing outside. She wanted to go and give Kuni a hug but was met with a straightforward question from Kuni. "What are you doing here?" he asked in displeasure. "I just wanted to accompany you for your last session. It was meant to be a surprise," Shania answered. "There will be no need for that. I'm going with someone else," Kuni said and walked towards Lara's car with his walking stick. Shania was embarrassed and furious. "Is it you? You've been with him all through. Can't I spend time with him today, at least?" she barked at Lara. Lara laughed at her audacity. "Do you even hear yourself? You've been absent all along, and now you want to show up when everything is in place, acting like the loving fiancé? Besides, I'm only the driver," Lara added with a smug look. Just then, Omi rushed out from the mansion, dressed decently. Shania was shocked to see her. Wasn't this the cleaner she had seen cleaning the compound and the house on several occasions she had come here? Lara held Omi's hand and led her towards the car, showing her into the back seat with Kuni. Then she drove off, leaving a very confused Shania standing behind. They didn't take long at the hospital. The doctor gave them such a good news, and Lara suggested that they celebrate it. Lara invited Kuni's friend too. They spent the whole day out and had so much fun. Lara drove Omi home in the evening, leaving Kuni with his friend. "So, man, you disappeared for months and showed up with a new woman. Where is Shania? And why is Lara so cool with your new girl?" Kuni's friend asked. "She's not my girl. We're just friends," Kuni pointed out. "I don't think you view her as a friend. Be honest with me. I'm your friend too," his friend said. Kuni then explained some of the things that happened leading to this moment. He was so happy to reminisce them. "Wow. So in short, a girl stole your food and you fell in love?" his friend teased. "I'm not in love," Kuni denied. "There's just something about her that draws me in. Just seeing her makes me happy," he explained. "It's called love, man. Simple as that. Does Lara know? You know how she feels about you," his friend said. "Of course she does. My guess is she's even hoping something happens between Omi and I," Kuni answered. "Are you sure? Lara and Shania have been fighting over you since childhood," his friend pointed out. "I know, but she has changed. It was so sudden as well. Very strange," Kuni wondered. The next day, Kuni was in his bedroom when someone knocked on the door. He welcomed them eagerly. Mrs. Amale walked in and Kuni was kind of disappointed on seeing her. "I'm sorry, were you expecting someone else?" she asked, noticing his displeasure. "No, I wasn't. Come on in, Amma," he said. "It's a Saturday." "She won't be coming," Mrs. Amale teased, making Kuni look at her in surprise. "You think I don't know? I'm not blind," she laughed. "Is it that obvious?" Kuni asked. "Yes, very obvious," Mrs. Amale answered. "Besides, I raised you. I know you so well. I started having my suspicions the day you asked me to give her enough breakfast and lunch. Besides, I've seen the way you look at her," Mrs. Amale said. "How do I look at her?" Kuni asked with interest. "The way you should look at Shania, the woman you were going to marry just a week before your accident," Mrs. Amale reprimanded. Kuni wasn't pleased by her answer at all. He had really expected a valid response. Mrs. Amale just laughed on seeing how displeased he was. "And speaking of Shania, she's out there with her parents and yours, so you have work to do. We're waiting for you, she informed him and left to join the guests. Kuni wondered what Shania was up to this time. Lara was in the living room with the guests. She seemed to be in a very happy mood. She even served drinks for everyone. She was just so welcoming. Lara is from a very wealthy family, just like Shania's, and both families were friends with Kuni's family. Although they were of the same social class, Kuni's parents were much wealthier. Lara and Kuni had known each other way before Shania came into the picture. However, since Sania's parents and Kuni's were involved in the same businesses, they were much closer, and Shania spent a lot of time with Kuni. Lara's family is in the medical field, so she didn't have as much in common with Kuni as Shania had, and they grew apart when she left for medical school. Shania used this opportunity to get closer to Kuni since they joined the same business university. Their families were obviously so happy about their relationship. Talks of marriage started soon after. Shania was so excited and Kuni just went with the flow. In logical sense, they were a great match. He didn't see anything wrong with the union. His parents were so happy as well. Besides, Shania was practically the only woman in his life, so he wasn't opposed to the union. Kuni joined everyone in the living room after a while. They were all so happy to see how much he had recovered. His parents and soon to be parents in law expressed their joy. Everyone was interacting happily. Soon enough, Shania cleverly brought up their wedding, and the women started discussing it. I don't think we have much to do. We can just follow through with the old arrangement. All we have to do is pick a new date and start sending new invites to the guests, Mrs. Watu, Shania's mother said. Shania nodded eagerly. She was so happy. The conversation was finally going the way she wanted. You're right. I think we should let the lovebirds pick a new date, Mrs. Ndani, Kuni's mother said, and everyone looked towards Kuni and Shania. Shania was so happy. Babe, what do you think? She beamed. Kuni ignored her and sat up straight. I have something to say, he announced. He had a very serious look on his face. Everyone noticed the change in his tone and face. He was very serious. Lara, who had been silent, sat up straight with a smug expression. She had been eagerly waiting for this moment. What is it, son? His mother urged. I don't want to get married, Kuni said directly and to the point, shocking everyone. Only Mrs. Amale and Lara had expected something like this. What do you mean? This wedding has been in plans for months. It was supposed to happen if it wasn't for your accident. What changed? Mrs. Watu asked desperately. Son, what do you mean you don't want to get married? If I remember correctly, the only thing that stopped this wedding was your accident. Now that you're feeling better, shouldn't we resume the plans? His mother voiced. Shania was so scared by Kuni's words. It was very embarrassing for her, but she tried to keep her composure. Mother, don't be angry. I think Kuni went through a lot and he just needs more time to recover. We shouldn't rush him, she spoke meekly. He should explain it well then. Kuni, what do you mean you don't want to get married? Mrs. Nani asked her son. Before Kuni could say anything, Lara interjected. Actually, I don't think Kuni has anything against getting married. I strongly believe what he meant to say is that he doesn't want to get married to Shania here, Lara claimed, shocking everyone. Excuse me? And who does he want to get married to? You? Mrs. Watu spat, not allowing her daughter to be ridiculed. Why don't you ask him? Lara shrugged. Everyone looked towards Kuni for answers. Shania was fuming by now, recalling the scene she witnessed yesterday. She never forgot how Kuni turned her down just to live with the maid. Seeing him with her burdened Sanya so much that she urged her parents to convince Kuni's parents and remind them of the wedding. That is why they came here today. It's her, right? That dirty maid, she sneered, glaring at Kuni. You want to choose a maid over me? Shania said in anger, attracting everyone's attention. Shania, what are you talking about? Her mother asked. Mom, there's some maid here, and I think Kuni has been having an affair with her. That dirty girl, out of all the people you could cheat on me with, you choose a maid? Shania shouted, and the room fell silent. After a while, Mrs. Watu spoke up with a weak voice. What is wrong with her being a maid? She asked. Mum, are you serious? She is a mere maid. She wipes the floor I walk on. They are useless. All they do is clean up after us. Why would he choose someone from a classless background over me? She doesn't know anything about the world of the upper class, Shania screamed. The room grew even quieter. Lara's laughter suddenly filled the space. Why are you laughing? What is funny? Shania spat. So, Shania, you think humble workers from humble backgrounds are useless and dirty? Lara asked. Of course they are. Nothing good can come out of people like that. She must have seduced him. That's all people like that do. They act humble and play housewife to attract their rich employers because that's the only way they can get a taste of wealth, Tanya said bitterly with so much spite. Oh my goodness, Lara exclaimed, shaking her head. You are so ignorant and mannerless, Shania, and it seems like you haven't done your homework at all. Otherwise, you would know that your beautiful mother here too was a maid. That's how she and your dad met, remember? And she wasn't just cleaning and doing laundry like Omi does. At least Omi even uses a machine. Your mother washed clothes with her bare hands, mopped with rags, cooked, swept every single house chore for just a penny or two. For just a penny or two, Lara narrated. Everyone was dead silent as she spoke. That is not true, Sanya denied weakly. She had secretly lost her mother's past and let her frustrations out in the heat of a moment, forgetting about her mother's past. Now there was no way she could take back all the mean words she had said. It is true. I was indeed a maid, Mrs. Watu muttered as tears rolled down her cheeks. Her husband was trying to comfort her, but she was so embarrassed. She just wanted to go home. Her own daughter had practically just insulted her in front of everyone here. I don't think we have anything more to discuss here. Kuni has made his choice. This wedding is cancelled. We shall inform the guests from our side, Mr. Watu said, standing up and helping his wife to her feet. No, Dad! You can't do that! All my friends know about this wedding. This will be so horrible for my image, Sanya cried out. Shania, is that all you care about? Your image? My goodness. You know, for someone who married a maid, I'm starting to understand why Kuni would choose one over you, he said angrily. No, Dad, this is not only about my image. I truly love Kuni so much, Sanya cried out. You don't love him. If you did, you wouldn't have left the country immediately after his accident, leaving him in someone else's care. What did you expect, Shania? Mr. Watu scolded. Shania was just left crying in the living room. Her parents left and Kuni's parents stood up to follow. Son, this new girl in your life, I hope you're sure about her, Mr. Ndani, Kuni's father asked. I've never been more certain about anything else in my life, Dad, Kuni answered with a smile. Then bring her over sometime, he said. Lara was so happy. She assured Kuni's parents that Omi was a very lovely girl and they would most definitely be pleased to meet her. At this point, everyone had left the living room and only Shania and Lara remained behind.